Usually I'm just the opposite. Usually I eat all the crust and leave the filling. That's weird. Oh, this is really good. That was fun. National Cherry Pie Day. Some pie lovers will be eating their favorite pie on February 20th during National Cherry Pie Day. Whether they eat it for breakfast, lunch, or supper, or a slice at every meal, depends on just how much they love cherry pie. It seems only right that we celebrate the cherry pie so close to President's Day. As we all know, the story, albeit untrue, President George Washington and the cherry tree. Cherries were, however, one of his favorite foods. According to the American Pie Council, the pie came to America with the first English settlers. The early colonists cooked their pies in long, narrow pans, calling them coffins, like the crust in England. As in Roman times, the early American pie crusts often were not eaten, but just designed to hold the filling during baking. And it was during the American Revolution that the term crust was used instead of coffin. United States cherry pie is often referred to as a great American dish. Recipe books have many different versions of recipes for cherry pie. Visit your local bakery, give them a shout out. Bake your favorite cherry pie at home. Teach someone to bake a cherry pie. Try a new recipe, like some of the ones we have listed here. Invite friends and family to enjoy a slice of cherry pie with you. And don't forget to share your deals and creations with us on hashtag National Cherry Pie Day. Which is more popular, apple or cherry pie? According to National Pie Day calendar, apple pie is more popular than cherry. And how many calories in one slice of a cherry pie? Approximately 500 calories. So now we know. So anyways, to share my my TV shows and my streaming audio movies we've been watching. Since that seems like it's such a big part of my life now, I'm just having a hard time recuperating from everything. Just taking everything just one day at a time. Reminder, turn down your contrast, your brightness on your device, so it won't be so bright in your room. Maybe, if it's not so bright in your room, you can fall asleep quicker and easier, and perhaps you can be the winner in our ongoing challenge. First one falls asleep wins. So, I was looking over a grocery list as I was watching TV, and I scratched down a ton of shows I wanted to talk about, so I've got a combined grocery list and TV and streaming audio shows. Do you remember that movie, Blackboard Jungle, from 1955 with Glenn Ford? That was on today on the Turner Classic Movie Channel. I remember seeing that in the 70s as a young kid, and I was shocked. Couldn't believe that kids would really act like that in a classroom. I saw it again, and it just brought back memories of I couldn't believe that movie. And then right after that was that To Sir with Love with Sidney Poitier. And again, I think I saw that in the 70s as a young person. I just couldn't believe that kids would really act that way in a classroom. Now, you have to remember, I was brought up Catholic, and so we went to Catholic school, and everything was just prim and proper. And so that was on again. I saw that today, and that brought back memories. And let's see. Blackboard Jungle. And Sidney Poitier was even in that Blackboard Jungle movie. He was a student. I remember to point out to you 2 streaming services available for free. Tubi TV and Pluto TV. And you don't have to pay. And it was really nice. And I find a lot of my fun old TV shows. But on Netflix, we just watched Devil's Advocate again with Keanu Reeves. Love that movie. And Al Pacino. Love that movie, spooky movie. And we saw a fun movie with Kevin Bacon Matt Dillon, Wild Things. And what's her name was in it? The girl that used to be married to the drummer in Bon Jovi. I mean, the guitarist in Bon Jovi. Denise Richards was in it. And it was kind of a fun movie. Wild Things. And Cleaner. Remember that movie with Samuel Jackson and Ed Harris, I think. And it's just about this guy. He has to clean up crime scenes. I remember just being fascinated at the job description. Like, we forget how many spooky jobs are out there, and that's one of them. He was a cleaner upper at crime scenes. That was a good movie. And a new one that just came out on Netflix, Black Hat, about this cyber hacker guy. It's kind of a long movie, 2.5 hours. But he was put in prison, but then they needed him out of prison because there were so many hackers doing all these awful things that they needed his help to catch all these hackers. I forgot to mention that this is where you can lay your head back and relax. And there's not going to be much to look at. I'll be talking mostly. So those are the last 4 movies we've watched on Netflix. And then on Tubi TV, I'm still watching The Love Boat. And on Pluto TV, I'm watching old shows of Johnny Carson. It's nice to watch stuff for free. And I was going through my TV. TV, remote. And I found like a handful of old retro TV channels. And mainly, we've been watching the Winter Olympics. I really love the figure skating. My husband loves the skiing. My husband's a skier from way back. So, outside of the figure skater, the 15-year-old, and that debacle with, did she do drugs? Did she not do drugs? Does she get a medal? Did she not get a medal? I don't know. Outside of that, we've really enjoyed the Olympics. And is it the bobsled where you get like 2 or up to 2 or 4 people jump in this little sled? It looks like they go like 100 miles an hour. That's kind of exciting, but I never realized that that movie, Cool Running, was like a story of the Jamaican bobsled guys. I think there's like 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them that jump in the sled and at the same time. And they have to be going pretty fast. kind of exciting. Though a little claustrophobic, I think, in that sled, but we've really been enjoying that. And, let's see. And of course, Carol Burnett. We have like a little Carol Burnett half-hour show. I still love watching her little sitcoms, even though I've seen them over and over. I love to see what stars she's going to have from back in the day. I still love old movie stars that we don't see anymore, either because they're dead or that, Hollywood just tossed them up and threw them away. Let's see, what else? Remember Who's the Boss? That's back on. Been watching that with Tony Danza and Judith Light and Alyssa Milano. I always think that's such a nice thing, on the show. Tony Danza is a single dad with a daughter, and he ends up being the housekeeper for Judith Light, and I'm so happy for him and his daughter because now they have like a home. I don't think before that they had a home. Kind of a fun little show. I'm enjoying watching that again. And I even saw The Lone Ranger from the 50s, mid-50s. Black and white is on. And I'm loving that because the filming location is so familiar to me. Those mountains look like the mountains I grew up in. It's in the far east end of Simi Valley, better known as Santa Susana, California. I'm telling you, like, all those scenes look like the whole mountainous region between Santa Susana up over the Rocky Mountain, Rocky Peak Road, and over into Canoga Park. And then in between all that is where Charles Manson had his ranch, Spawn Ranch. It looks so familiar, and in all honesty, that's been my addiction to the Lone Ranger. Watching and spotting the filming location. I think a lot of it may have also been filmed in Hopetown, which was a filming company like right across the street from where we grew up. A little housing tract where we grew up. But I can't stop watching it. I'm addicted. I just love reminiscing about stuff from the 60s. What else did I find? Hazel. Every once in a while I find Hazel. Shirley Booth is Hazel. I don't know. I remember watching that as a kid, and I don't know why I liked that show as a kid, other than like Hazel was kind of like the grandmotherly type, and she always made everything nice for everybody by the end of the show. And she had like a uniform. I think I loved uniforms. My dad was an airline pilot. He wore a uniform to work. I loved Hazel. She had a maid's uniform. The Brady Bunch, remember Alice? She had a uniform. And all us kids grew up wearing uniforms. We all went to Catholic school our whole life. And then I was all excited when I got a job at the post office. Yay, I'm going to have a uniform. Only for them to tell me, no, you won't. You're going to be working inside sorting mail. You don't need a uniform. That's kind of funny. And my husband, he was in the military, in the military reserves. Oh, how I loved it when he put on his uniform, especially when we went to the military balls. He wore his uniform. Oh my goodness. Is there such a thing as a uniform fetish? I just love a man in a uniform. But then, like I said, I just like uniforms of all kinds. Let's see, what else? Oh, Beverly Hillbillies. And the thing about the Beverly Hillbillies, to this day, why I like it, is the beginning of the show where they sing that song. Let me tell you about a story about a man named Jed. You know, that whole story, and they show him hunting, and then he hunting for some, and then up came some crude. Up from the ground came bubbling crude oil, black gold, Texas tea. To this day, not crazy about the show, but as a young person, I would daydream, just like how Jed Clampett was out shooting his gun and he got oil overnight and was a millionaire. I was such a daydreamer as a kid. I'm still a daydreamer. Every day I would dream of that. But it wasn't that far-fetched because my grandma, my Polish grandma from Texas, they had oil well rights. They had land in Texas of this company at acreage. This company was drilling, and every month they would send them money. Now, they never struck it rich with an oil well, but they would get like water, something for water, and something for natural something. So I don't know what exactly that was for, but every time we'd go to my grandma's house, my dad and my grandma would talk about what they send you for your mineral rights this month. Each month she'd get a check, and I'd hear them talking about it. My grandma was all excited, so I never know how much it was, but I always remember my dad saying, "Oh, Mama, they'll strike oil. They're gonna find oil someday." Obviously, they must not have. I would have heard about it. But as a kid, to know my grandma had that in Texas, and every month we go down there. She lived in East LA with my aunt. Her and my aunt both had the same property. And I'd hear my dad talk about it. They'd be happy. And he'd always end by saying, "Oh, someday, Mama, someday they're going to find an oil well." And at the same time, I was watching the Beverly Hillbillies. I had this big dream of they're going to find that oil well on my aunt's property. So to this day, that's my thrill about Beverly Hillbillies. Anyways, let's see what else is on here. Oh, Bewitched. Now that I like because that brings back my Friday night. My Friday night schedule as a kid back in the 60s. Friday night was the best TV show night. Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, that Girl and Bewitched. Not necessarily in that order. As a kid, there was nothing better than a Friday night supper, early enough for all of us to get our pillows and blankets stretched out in front of the TV to watch those 4 shows. When I think of Bewitched, I think of us there. Friday night. Good times, back before they had cable TV. But we had more than most. We were here in Southern California. We had channel 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, so we had 7 channels. And my dad he'd turn on a UHF channel and get the stock market. But I think I was a little intrigued by the magic that they could do on Bewitched, because if you recall, I was really into the Flying Nun as a grammar school kid. And I really believed that if I prayed hard enough as a Catholic schoolgirl, that God would let me fly like the Flying Nun. I'm serious about that. I'm sure I told the story somewhere on YouTube, but I was really convinced if we prayed hard enough, me and my brothers and sisters, I could fly. It never happened. Mannix. What was the name of the guy that played Mannix? That's just a show that I like to watch because it was all filmed in LA. And so here we are, all these decades later. I love watching the streets and the filming locations. Love it. It's just fun to remember what it was like. And but I always thought Mannix was good looking. I forgot the name of the actor who played him. Same thing with Chips. The 2 highway patrol guys on the motorcycles. Can't think of his name either now. I love watching their bike scenes or motorcycle scenes. It's all LA, San Fernando Valley. So close to home. All the places we grew up. I love watching that show for that. I can see parts of shows on YouTube. On one of the streaming services, you can pay to see all the episodes. I haven't paid yet, but I have been enjoying Chips. And they pull into a gas station. And I'm sure they filmed it over in the valley, like in West Hollywood or San Fernando Valley. It's all the places that are so familiar to me. As we lived in the San Fernando Valley at the Topanga Plaza Mall. Because we physically lived Santa Susana, but there was nothing there. All the fun shops were over in San Fernando Valley. Let's see, what else? Maud. I think I enjoy watching Maude just because I loved B. Arthur and Golden Girls. And I just like to watch B. Arthur and the other lady in Maude. The other lady was in the show also. The lady that played Blanche. I just like watching them prior to Maude and then comparing how they matured from one show to the next. I don't know. Dragnet. Love that show because, again, it's a locally filmed show, LA. And they would talk about things, and we'd see them drive by streets. The addresses or the streets they mentioned, we were familiar with so many things. And so I kind of like watching that again for the same reason. Look at the landscape of LA back in the 60s and all the familiar areas where you see them pass by a shopping mall or an old store that doesn't exist anymore. Lots of thrifty drugstores that don't exist anymore. I love that. And already mentioned Carol Burnett. And Alfred Hitchcock Hour. I kind of like watching that because it's a different kind of a TV. It's kind of spooky. And kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. Spooky. You know, not so horror spooky that it's too much. It's the kind of spooky story I like. It's a little spooky that it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Alfred Hitchcock Hour. Oh, we've been watching Jack Hanna Into the Wild. That show has been on for years. Never started getting interested in it until I think he died recently, didn't he? Jack Hanna. I think we didn't start liking it until after he had passed away. But it's really, the animals are beautiful on his show, and I've been enjoying that lately. And we're still watching our two Food Network shows. Carnival Eats. This guy goes around to all the world fairs or county fairs and eats all this carnival and fair food. Oh my goodness. My husband loves that. And Man versus Food. This guy goes to these restaurants and orders the biggest thing he can get from the restaurant and see if he can win a prize. If he can eat like 5 pounds of ice cream or 5 pounds of whatever the restaurant offers. And he always tries. If he wins, he gets his picture on the wall or a t-shirt from the restaurant. But so we watch that at least once a day or every other day. So that's what's going on with me. Did I lose my bubblegum balls? And of course I have my share of YouTube channels that I've been watching. Unfortunately, I've unsubscribed to many channels. Just very disappointed. I'll tell you why. Well, I realize it ruins my ASMR experience. If I feel I'm enjoying a channel, but I feel I'm being used when I get to their channel. So I've completely deleted my subscription to the ASMRs who plug commercials, ads, or come to my second, third, or fourth, or fifth channel. They want money.